If you want to hear the voice of God, you have to read his word, and that's it. If you are cultivating a walk with the Lord, if you are looking to grow closer to Jesus Christ, or you want to know who Jesus really was, who he is, if you want to know how the voice of God sounds, you have to read his word. Right now, I'm reading Job, and the story of Job, oh my gosh, it's so many things I can dissect in that. Like, I could really break that apart. But what I want to get to is, when you read the book of Job, you actually hear God's voice. You hear the voice of the Lord, because he's talking directly to Job. So if you are the one who, I never hear God's voice, I can't hear the voice of God, first of all, I guarantee you're not in your word. Because when you read that Bible, and don't just read the Bible to do something like, oh, let me check that off my list, I read the Bible, so you can, fleshly say, okay, I did that today. But actually read the Bible to understand who Jesus Christ is, who the Lord is, like, seriously. And when reading Job, you hear God talk directly to Job, and that is his voice. That is what he sounds like. He is very powerful, he is very serious, and he is very strong, and he is not to be played with. And that's what the Lord gives us when he's talking to Job. The things that he chooses to say to Job, if you go and read that story, read it for yourself, read those scriptures, God is powerful. He does not play, okay? And he lets you know who he is. He deserves reverence. He deserves a high level of respect. When you read Zechariah, you will also hear the voice of the Lord. See, listen, we're looking for the voice of God through people. A lot of the time, we're looking for the voice of God through a pastor or some type of internet preacher. But at the same time, you don't have to do that. You can hear his voice directly. When you start to cultivate a relationship with God and you truly walk with the Lord, he will talk directly to you through your dreams. You may hear an audible voice. However the Lord chooses to speak to you individually, you will receive that when you create a relationship with him. But you're not going to hear the voice of God, and you're not even in his word. But ultimately, the number one way to hear the voice of God is to open up his word, because the word is alive. It is living. It is alive. You hear me? He wasn't just talking to them back then, but he also talks to us. Today, the Bible is the only book that is personalized for each and every individual. If you read the book of Twilight, if 10 people read it, you'll get the same message, because it's the same, it's one story in that book. But the Bible is personalized for each and every one of us, to where 10 people can read it and we will all get a different message. Do you see what I'm saying? God wasn't just talking to the Israelites back then and individuals in the Bible. He wasn't just talking only to them. When you read the Bible is the only book that will read you back. If you want to hear the voice of God for real, you got to open up the Bible, and you have to create a relationship with him. And don't just open up the Bible and think that you can, read it on your own without any help. No, you need assistance from the Holy Spirit. But the Bible also tells you that. The Bible tells you that the Holy Spirit will be your guidance. He will teach you everything that you need to know. If you get into the word, you'll learn that as well. So prior to opening up the Bible, ask God for wisdom to understand, and ask God for knowledge to retain what you read, so that you can implement that in your day-to-day. A lot of people make it more complex than what it really is, but it does not have to be that level of complexity. It is as simple as you want it to be. You pray to the Holy Spirit, you pray to the living God, you pray to Jesus Christ. This is the thing. You have to start somewhere in order to get further. If you're looking for the voice of the Lord, you have to open up his word, and that is it, and that is all.